What's up, my guys? Welcome to another show, NBA Talk with Jay. I got my guy with me today, special guest, celebrity guest, the absolute legend, my guy, Will Capper. Drew, what's up, my guy? You
Dude,
good?
yeah, absolutely. Way too kind, Jay. I appreciate you having me and love there's only a handful of people I get to talk NBA with in this space. Love your perspective on this stuff. So really excited to break down these games today.
Guys, I feel so much better when Will Capper likes something and I'm on the same side. I'm sorry, I just feel so much better about it. Same thing with my guy Shark. It's only a few of people like that, but he is definitely one of them. I respect the hell out of this guy. We go way back. We had some drinks in Miami for the SBR trip, all that, man. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
definitely have to hook back up with my guy here in person. But we're here to break down these NBA games, man. It's what we do here on this channel, break down the games. And I'm coming off a bad day yesterday.
Yeah, me too.
Had the Nets and the Clippers yesterday, guys. So 0-2 for me yesterday. What do you think about the Nets game yesterday? Drew, they 22 run fourth quarter.
Yeah, that was super. That was so weak. After they came, they put together a nice comeback in the third quarter. They take the lead heading into the fourth, and then the Bucks picked up a little bit of momentum. They throw Kevin Durant back in the game, and Durant just didn't look like he had the focus. He was making sloppy turnovers. I thought the Bucks, their like their strategy, their plan, like we're just going to get physical. We're going to push them. We're going to knock them down. We're going to make the refs call fouls. The refs were calling a soft, they had a real soft whistle. They were kind of letting them get away with a lot of stuff, I thought. And that took the Nets a little bit out of their, comfort zone. And then sure enough, Kevin Durant down the stretch really was disappointing the way he played in that fourth quarter, I thought. And then the Nets just kind of quit. And sure enough, 22-1 run will ruin your day, especially when the win was right there for the taking and they couldn't come away with it. But you know what? My ultimate takeaway is I don't think the Bucks are live for really making noise in the playoffs because of the coaching, because of some of the limitations in a 7-game series against the best in the East. And so hopefully the fact that the Nets lost these 2 games, we get a little bit better price when the Nets and the Bucks play in the playoffs.
And we can't forget that they're still playing without Harden as well. So we can't forget that. And because and Kyrie right now, Ramadan Kyrie is obviously not playing at 100%, my guys. Yeah. So we can't forget that as well. And that's definitely something I overlooked. It was a revenge game. I did think they would come out with more juice when they were kind of down at the half. I was like, you know what I'm saying? But they came back, showed something in the fourth quarter, got up 6 points. Then you give up a 22-1 run. I know it was 7-0, and then they go and take the lead. But just after they just really let them just mount on, it was really tough to see, my guys. But it happened. And like I said, it was going to be one dog, one fave. The Nets didn't cash, so the Raptors did cash, my guys. It happens, man. But let's get all positive vibes, man. You know what I'm saying? We can't cry over spilled milk. It's we have more games today, and it's we live to fight another day, right? So let's go with this. Let's go with the game we like the most. Is what we do here on the channel. The Suns versus the Hawks. I don't know about you, but this is one of the plays that I like the most. Here we have the Suns laying 1 on the road. It did line open up at 2.5. It's down to 1 here in Atlanta. This is a nice little revenge spot for the Hawks as well. They've won 6 straight at the house. Been playing some good basketball. Bogdanovich was on the injury report. It looked like he will be a full go. What are you thinking here, Will? You liking some of this game?
Yeah, so you mentioned it open 2.5. I got involved overnight there. I think the Hawks absolutely are live. The couple of factors, obviously. The Suns last night, man, the fact that they covered that 12.5 was insane. Craziest cover I've seen in years. 12.5 in overtime is wild. I think I saw some stats and info like hasn't happened in the last 30 years that a double digit fave is covered in overtime. Right. And thoughts and prayers to whoever had Cavs plus 12.5, man. Like that is an all-time bad beat.
I think it was the right side as well.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, for sure. And the Suns are leaking a little bit of oil. This is a tough part of their schedule. They're playing teams that are below them. And they probably think they're a lot better than the Hawks. They're number 1 in the West. Hawks are just kind of in the mix for the playoffs, not really considered a contender. So a nice little kind of, opportunity for the Hawks to punch up to a degree, not unlike what we saw against Portland, actually. Portland kind of came in the same sort of fatigue situation. They've been playing a bunch of tough teams. They limp into town, and the Hawks pounced on them, took advantage of it. I think the same sort of thing happens here tonight. There's going to be, you have a pretty huge disparity here between, how much rest the Hawks have gotten, especially their key players. Like, people forget, like, Trae Young didn't play a lot in the month of April. He got some time to kind of rest and recuperate, and that's going to end up bearing some fruit because he's going to have fresher legs in the fourth quarter. Similarly, a couple of the other guys that they're really going to rely on for offense in this game. So I got to ride with the Hawks here. I think they're the hot team, and I know the Suns are better in the standings, but there's not a lot of distance between these two teams by my power ratings. And then you add the fatigue in. This looks like a decent spot for the Hawks.
Exactly. I think they're catching him in a good spot. So just look at some minutes. So Booker did play 40 minutes last night, 8 and 36. Bridges played 40 minutes as well. Chris Paul hit down to 35 and a half minutes. So the one thing I really respect about the Suns in the season of resting guys last minute, I mean, looking forward to the playoffs, the Suns, they're just built different. They don't really, the Suns are built different. They don't rest guys. So I really have to respect this team. I must say I do, but I do think this is a bad spot. I do think that their Suns, that their defense has really been leaking the last couple of games. Maybe they just didn't take the team as serious. They were up versus the Suns, then closed their game like on a 17-3 run to the Suns versus the Thunder. Let them close on a 17-3 run. You only win the game by 3. Then you go in overtime with the Cavs, which, like you say, I mean, they end up winning by 14-16, but they shouldn't have. The game should never even win the overtime versus the Cavs. They only ran like basically a 7-man roster. The 8th guy is a guy I've never even heard of before. So, I mean, just look who the Cavs are throwing out there. Like you say, it's the third game in 4 nights all on the road. I like the Hawks. I think it's went down with all the money on the Suns, went down from 2.5 to 3. 2.5 to 1. I think that's a good indicator as well. Give me the Hawks. I'll go with it official, +1. I like the Hawks to win this game. Stay hot at the house. It is the first game back-to-back. They face the Pacers tomorrow. Nate McMillan facing his old squad, but they already smacked those guys. Yeah. I don't really think that that's like a huge look ahead. The Pacers are not the same this year, but I mean, hey, they sometimes they might have a good game. My guy, Drew, what you think? You want to get to this next game? Let's talk about this Pacers versus Kings, because I didn't talk about this game on the SBR show. We know the Pacers have really been struggling at the house. They're 8 and 22 against the spread at the house. We had the Kings here on a little hot streak. They won 3 straight games. Still no Fox. They still Harrison Barnes has been down. Then now Tyrese Halliburton has went down as well. You look at it; they only won by 3 yesterday. What do you think in this game, Pacers versus Kings?
Yeah, no Fox, no Halliburton, no Barnes. That's a huge downgrade for the Sacramento offense. When I look at the Pacers and what they've been in the last month, this team has really kind of figured some important things out on offense. They're looking quite strong, but their defense is it's been super poor, like impossibly bad. But if you kind of look at some of the strength of opponents, they've played a lot of the best offenses in the NBA. When they're giving up 140, 150 points, it's to the top offenses. And I just am not seeing that with the Kings, considering no Fox, no Halliburton, and now no Barnes. So I think this is going to be a pretty large margin here for Pacers. You look at Kings coming in off of a game that ended pretty late last night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. That game also, by the way, Oklahoma City was basically playing a G League team, right? And the Kings barely got, a 4-point win or 3-point win, whatever the final margin was. It was close though. At the end of that game, it was oh man, the Thunder might actually win this game. So I think the Kings right now, they're playing a bottom 5 team. They just happen to have played some bad squads, and for whatever reason they have the Mavericks number. But this is a good spot for an offense that is clicking right now for the Indiana Pacers. I guess I'm not sure if Brogdon's going to go. I know he's questionable. Not expecting Miles Turner here, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think Sabonis and some of the other key pieces on this Pacers offense are going to be able to get theirs, and I think the Pacers are going to win with margin.
Got you. So the way I'm looking at this game, guys, I must say it's Pacers or nothing for it, and I probably will end up riding with my guy here if he likes it. It's going to make me love it. So, but look, the Kings have won 3 straight. This is a 4-game road trip. Or are the Kings really going to go 4-0 on this road trip? So they beat no, in all instances, so they beat the Lakers. They for some like you said, they just own the Mavs. Mavs are my squad. For some reason, they swept it this year. I don't understand it. Obviously, they have like if you underrate their offense, they can get up and moving up and down on the floor with you. And Drew, you really pointed out something that was pretty incredible. That's what I looked at. The teams that's been blowing the Pacers out or that's been really putting up a bunch of points, it's a really good offensive teams. And so, and like you say, I mean, Brogdon's questionable here. Obviously, it'd be nice to have him back. And so, because look, no one's looking to back the Pacers in this game. Obviously, they're playing at the house. They've been terrible at home. Kings have been hot. I think this is a spot where they could win by double digits versus a team that's playing third game in 4 nights, last game of their road trip. They're playing without 3 of their top players. Bagley has just came back pretty much. I mean, are they going to play him back-to-back nights? So it's not really a whole lot of motivation for the Kings. I know they're winning, but you're not going to the playoffs. You actually may want to try to get a better pick, in my opinion. So I could see this one getting ugly. LeVert's a bonus, and the straw that may break the camel's back. They come out saying that the coach will likely be fired at the end of the year. I told you guys with the Blazers, once they said that about Terry Stotts, the Blazers finna go on a run. They reeled off 4 straight wins, and it's like where the coach really try to come out and have to throw everything he has to with a game plan and try to win every game by as many points just to try to show everybody, hey, look, I can still do this. So that's an extra added tier there. I think of this game that just came out yesterday, I could see it translating to this game. Pacers winning by double digits. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna ride with you on that one, my guy.
Nice.
Because nobody likes it. And when that happens, like yesterday, we were on here, we're talking about Pelicans. My guy Shark came on here and gave out the Pelicans. People were in the chat telling us the Pacers, the Pelicans suck. There's no way. And what do you see happen? They end up winning by 5. So when that happens, I actually love it, to be honest with you. So I think I'm around with you.
You remember, I don't know if you watched Saturday's game, but the Pacers won 152-95 over the Oklahoma City Thunder, the same Thunder team that just went toe-to-toe with the Kings last night. Exactly. I'm not saying that this is going to be a 60-point win. I'm just saying 6.5 is not the right number.
Exactly. Yeah, and they've been lackluster at the house. I do think this one. I'm riding with you. I'm riding with you because nobody likes it. I'm talking about everybody in the chat is doing the exact same thing. I love it.
LeVert is seeing the basket well right now. McDermott is seeing the basket well right now. Sabonis is absolutely taking a huge step forward in his progression. You're getting solid production off the bench from Holiday, Holiday, and McConnell. Like these guys, like the Pacers are not a good team. I get it, but they're gonna beat these guys by double digits, I think.
Yeah, and like I say, guys, don't underestimate that fire that they just lit up under the coach. I mean, he likely will get fired, but for the rest of the season, they'll likely be giving it everything they have. I mean, obviously, you hope that the players translate. So, but like I say, hey, if the coach is already gonna get fired, you don't have to tank so that he gets fired. If there are, you know what I'm saying. So I like the Pacers, man. Nobody likes it.
Hey, real quick, Pacers are playing the Hawks then tomorrow.
Yeah, they are.
What's that total going to be? Like 260?
Oh, boy.
What? Oh, boy. How high could that? They can't make that high enough.
Yeah,
that's going to be wild. Yeah,
the last time the Hawks, Nate McMillan, obviously revenge game. Yeah. They did whatever they wanted to versus the Pacers yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Hey, nobody likes the Pacers, man. What it says, it's going down to 6 now, like it's going down to 6, my guys. But yeah, nobody will like this play. Usually those cash. So let's get to this next one. We have the Wizards versus the Bucks here. Bucks, obviously, this line was at 6, and it's down to 3. It came down to 3.5. What? Just on that alone, what do you think? Does Giannis sit here? I think that's very telling that it was at 6 this morning. It's down to 3. They're coming off a couple of really representative games versus the Nets. Maybe letdown spot?
Yeah, that's got to be what the market's thinking here. The 2 things, letdown spot and low motivational spot. Combine that with Giannis probably does get rested. I definitely don't think he gets 35 minutes. Maybe they play him reduced minutes. And in which case, the Bucks are vulnerable to get beat because the way you beat the Bucks, you fill it up from 3. They are taking on a Wizards team that has some outstanding 3-point shooting. This is potentially a nice spot for the Wizards to do some damage. I remember the Wizards played the Bucks a couple times. back in March, April,
Mm-hmm.
and they were really competitive. Like, they have kind of a knack for competing with this Bucks team. 3 is too cheap for me to get involved with. 3.5, I would have. I'm upset I missed the opener on this. I was staying up super late last night. This was the last one they opened. I was like,
They were scared.
Hang that number.
They were scared.
Yeah, they wouldn't put that number up. So I finally went to bed, and I wake up this morning, found out middle of the night they put up like a 6.5. It's got bet down to 3.5. So too late.
I think it's so. In all honesty, that happened the other day with the Blazers and the Hawks. And I believe it was the Hawks, the last game that was put up or something like that. It's like they were scared of the game. When that happens, the spot that usually that we like, it catches. So it was up to 6, down to 3.5. I'm going with the Wizards official plus 3.5. I think that's very telling that somebody will, because the way I'm looking at it, some guys play heavy minutes. If I'm not mistaken, Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis all play heavy. I mean, they wanted both of those games. They came out. They did everything they had to win both games. It was an all-out effort both games. I think this is letdown spot. The last time they were in this situation, they lost to the Hawks. That was on the road, so I mean, it's not necessarily the same. They don't have to travel, but still, we saw them come off a couple of big games versus 76ers and have a letdown spot. I think, and the Wizards are playing some of the best basketball of the season. I think they won 9 of 10 with their 4. These guys are 5-0 against the spread last 5 road games.
Nice.
I think they can win this game. Like I say, and the so unfair part, Drew, is that when say if Giannis is just even questionable, the line will move down even more, even though it's went from 6 to 3.5 with somebody likely knowing something. If he pops up on the injury report or is listed out, it'll probably move even more. So, but regardless, I think even full squad, just like you say, the Wizards just played them tough and they laid 8.5 on the road. They shouldn't be laying 3.5 here at the house. I think the books are really showing strength to Wizards. They know that they'll be competitive here. They know that they'll likely win this game. They're more rested, everything. I think the books don't take this game as serious. It's just the Wizards. They, you know what I'm saying, sitting 9-10. Give me the Wiz plus the 3.5, man. I'm gonna go with it. I feel like it's not that I have to, but I like the spot. I do like the spot, my guys.
Okay.
What you think? Could you talk me out of it?
No. If this is a Wizards or nothing for me, and because I didn't get the best of the number, I'm just gonna sit on the sidelines. That's
got you.
Yeah, that's about it. But I agree.
Understandable, my God. Understand. Let's get to another interesting game. Probably the last one we go through. Well, I know you have something else on another. We'll touch that one last. But this, because you might get a better number as well. The Spurs versus Jazz. We have the Jazz laying 6.5 here at the house. Obviously, it's a little home and home spot here. They just played on Monday. The Jazz, this game did open up at 7.5. It's down to 6.5. Maybe some money coming in on the Spurs, or even the Jazz were up 20 in the last game. They did only have win by 11. Did you see anything in that game that may translate to a play in this game?
So I was on the Spurs in that game. I was pretty convinced that game that should have been about a 6-point spread. And for whatever reason, the Spurs absolutely no-showed. It was frustrating because the market was with me. I got the good news. Dejounte Murray was going to go. And I was feeling pretty confident because the Jazz really, they are missing some key pieces. No Mike Conley, no Donovan Mitchell. Like, this is a team that is definitely needs to, kind of just they're holding on for dear life, waiting for the playoffs to start and bring these guys back. So I'm, the Jazz are kind of on my list. Like, I want to get after them from a fade. I did it Monday. It didn't work out. And so I'm hesitant to go back to the well on this one. But especially going back to the well at a lower price, like I was getting 7.5 on Monday. Now you're getting 6.5. So because of all that, I had to stay away. But this was, again, another one that's like Spurs or nothing.
Got you. Sometimes we do this, like where a team will burn us, and then it's like we kind of go like the recency bias. So sometimes we're right. It's like, okay, maybe they just can't hang with those guys, and then sometimes they'll come back and play a totally different game. My thing with the last game with the Spurs, it was a back-to-back situation. They had just played the game before, so they had rested. I think they had rested Pirtle. They rested They rested, I'm pretty sure, so Murray, and they rested DeRozan the night before. So those three weren't on the back-to-back, but the rest of the team was. So I do think it's a little bit of a different situation, to be honest with you, just for team chemistry as a whole. I do think that, so it's two ways to look at it. The Spurs could try to tank, but I mean, they're holding on to the 10th seed right now. Anything can happen. You get into the playoffs, you would still like to get if you're there, you would still like the playoffs. I mean, Popovich, you don't really just would like to just choose to miss the playoffs. You're not going to get that much of a better draft pick. So if I can't say if I were them, but you would think that off of 4 straight losses, Spurs would come in here with a competitive effort and really try to go after to win this game. I feel like if they go full squad, and because obviously we have to be hesitant to bet these games early because some of the teams really like to rest some guys. And I think if the Spurs do rest some guys, they may say that they're tanking, but full squad, I like the Spurs here. I mean, it was at 7 this morning. It's down to 6.5. I think that's showing strength to Spurs, Drew. Like, that's what we want. We don't want the Jazz to go, like, say, if it was a Jazz type game, I think it would go up to stay at 7.5 or go up to 8. The fact that it's coming down, I think that's good for us. Like, we want to see it come back to the Spurs. It's going to show them that's showing that they're going to have a representative effort. I like the Spurs here, my guys.
Sure.
I hadn't got on it yet. I need to make sure it's full squad, but I do like the Spurs here. There's nothing really to do in Utah but steam from the loss that you just took, get in the gym, practice on your shot, right? So, I mean, they're not going out partying in Utah. You gotta focus on coming here, get a win, get off this losing streak that you're on, try to make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Popovich going against Snyder. You know this. They're catching points in a winnable game. I think the Spurs get it done here, my guys. I do. But, yeah, Jazz are 27-4 at the house. I know, but like I said, I'd be taking the points in this game if I had to bet this one, Drew. What you think?
Yeah, you made a great case. I might get involved, actually. It's a strong case. I again, like, I thought fair price was about 6. I'm seeing some 7s out there right now. I can get 7 at a couple of the offshores, so I might get involved here.
Gotcha. Man, they in the chat saying, can we talk to Knicks and Nuggets? Everybody wants to talk Knicks, and everybody wants to talk Knicks right now. I mean, they've been cashing tickets left and right for pretty much everybody. You take the Knicks blindly right now, and you'll get rich pretty much. So do you think that they continue tonight? If it's at 3.5, it's up to 4 here, right? All the money on the Knicks, and it's come up to 4 versus the Nuggets here coming off of coming off their loss versus the Lakers. What you thinking here?
Yeah, I had the Knicks in my sights. I was ready to fire away, and I was hoping to get a little bit better number. I wanted like a 4, 4.5. 3.5 is a little short, and then seeing it move now up to 4, like there's market support for the Nuggets. I'm getting a little spooked here. Feels like a little trappy. I know that's not a thing, but it does feel like there's something I'm not getting about this, because anyone who watched that Nuggets Lakers game saw something pretty obvious. The Nuggets really, really lack anyone besides besides Jokic, who can make a play with the ball. Like Michael Porter Jr., he can't get a basket for anyone else. That without Murray out there, without really any solid guard play, it's been brutal at times to see them try to run offense. No, they're missing Jamal Murray, Monte Morris, Will Barton. Like, those are your 3 primary ball handlers outside of Jokic, and it shows. And so that going up against a very solid fundamental defensive team like the Knicks, this should be a good matchup for the Knicks. Ultimately, I don't know who on the Knicks is going to be able to really put a body on Jokic, which is why I think it's fair that the Nuggets are favored. But I would have made this like a 2.5 point game. So anyone that goes to the well back in the Knicks, I totally get it. The thing about the Knicks is that, they've been winning for so long. They've been covering so regularly. At some point, you got to think their luck is going to run out to a degree. I'm not sure tonight's the night, but that was kind of in the back of my head in passing.
Yeah, it's crazy because the Nuggets, obviously, they already beat them earlier this year. So this is a little revenge spot for the Knicks here. So the Nuggets laid 5.5 on the road. They had Jamal Murray. They still had Barton. They had Gary Harris and all that. So, I mean, obviously, I guess they're going to be great a little bit different because they do have Gordon now, but we can't forget they are still missing Murray. So they're missing Murray. Murray went down. So they're missing Monte Morris. Okay, they're missing Barton then when they're defensive specialists. They were still winning games. Drew, now they're missing PJ Dozier as well. There are others that he was a starter for them. They were starting Campazzo and Dozier. Now that's another ball handler. Now it's going to have to be Campazzo and Austin Rivers starting, which in all honesty may not be a bad thing for the Nuggets here. He does have massive revenge. He's going to be playing with a heavy heart versus the Knicks. He's going to want to go out for 50, so that you do have that. But who is going to be the ball handler off the bench? Like one of those two guards getting in foul trouble, they literally don't have anybody else that can handle the ball. Just on the like Jokic will be running full blown point guard, bringing the ball up the floor if one of those two get into foul trouble. So like I say, heavy lean to Knicks here. They were 9-1 against the spread last 10 on the road. I don't think they'll be covering spreads forever, but I must say if it's me, it's Knicks or nothing. But I'm with you here. One of these spots they are going to drop. This is a crazy game. It's Knicks or not. The only way I could look is Knicks. I need Noel in there, so we can't forget about that injury for Nerlens Noel because he would be the guard that's guarding Jokic. He would be the guy, and you don't want Randall guarding him because if he gets in foul trouble, it's not good for the Knicks. But he's their best player by far and major focal point of offense as well.
Yeah, if Mitchell Robinson was healthy, if Noel was going to go, I would have a different. We'd probably see a pick 'em, honestly. Right. But without those two guys, I'm not sure who's going to be able to put a body on Jokic and really make a difference in this game. So it's got to be a pass for me. But hey, anyone who's been riding the Knicks for the last month and has been cashing, it's like you're in Vegas and you're on the hot table. Like you don't walk away from that table. You keep going back. I'm on the outside of that. I wasn't part of the fun. I won a couple of games of the Knicks, but I wasn't pressing. And so, I completely get why people who have, kind of caught the fever, Knicks fever this year, just keep going back to the window to bet them. And I'll be cheering for you. I love this story, man. Knicks are fun.
Yeah, and what you're saying is, if the guys that's been taking the Knicks and you have so much money in your bankroll from the Knicks, I wouldn't talk you off just going
playing with house money.
You're playing with house money, Jag. On which I hadn't just blindly taken every game. There's some games in there where the Knicks were really taking care of me, I must say. But I guess I had fall victim of to like I guess they can't stay high forever. But I'm not betting against them. I must say I'm not looking to take the Nuggets. I know it's went up to 3.5 to 4. Like I say, I'd be really honed in to see what's up with Noel. If Noel can get in there, I think that is one player that may drive me to put a little something on the Knicks. It's on heavy lean for now, my guys. But let's get to this. This is probably the last game we'll talk about. Last intriguing game, pretty much. Celtics versus it's not really an intriguing game, but maybe some money here. Celtics versus the Magic here. What we doing? You like some of this one?
Yeah, this is going to be a terrible game. Fading the Magic. One of the most effective angles that I've seen like the last couple of months here. The teams that are tanking, if they go on a little bit of a winning streak, like bombs away, fade against them. Like the Magic can't afford to have a close game here and win some more. They basically have a G League roster out there against a Celtics team that is desperate to continue to win. This is going to be an ugly game. I think fair price is probably Celtics closer to about 14, and I'm getting like I got 10.5. It's 11 now. I think this is one-way traffic. Celtics just absolutely drop a hammer. I know Jaylen Brown is out, but Tatum and Kemba are going to go. This is going to be this is one where you turn it off and just check the scoreboard.
Yeah, no, I couldn't talk you off. A laundry list of injuries for the Magic, and just to make it even better, because this wasn't a game that I really want to hone into. What do you have? A tanking team that's 1-2 straight. That alone says that I don't really want to mess around with the Magic here. They could have probably went and partied real hard. Oh, we are 2 straight wins. Oh, it's where the Bears at? So you know what I'm saying? I can see it. Still down a bunch of guards. Terrence Ross not playing once again. Okeke, one of the players that is still playing hard over there for them. Let's see, no Ennis in this game, and their starting center, Wendell Carter Jr. as well, not playing. So pretty much everybody that makes the Magic go right now are out. Obviously with them sitting Wendell Carter Jr. as well, just letting you know that it's just they're not trying to go for a third straight win. So just let you know that that's the only thing I'm saying. It's not that they're just trying to lose this game. They're 11-point dogs here at the house, so it's just they're not going for the win. Let's just put it that way. So
you're going to see a lot of Mo Wagner, a lot of Dwayne Bacon, a lot of Cole Anthony, a lot of RJ Hampton.
Hampton, I must say, Hampton has came in there. We can't forget about him. He was supposed to be one of the like lottery picks. I know he's playing overseas for a while, so he's really been playing professional basketball. Hampton and Cole Anthony, they'll be something at one point. Like we can't overlook them right now, but if the Celtics come and play their game, they should smack them by 20. It's just, you know what I'm saying? But they should come in here and smack them. Well, they're off for loss, aren't they? Aren't they off for loss? The Blazers. I was all over the Blazers in that game. So yeah, man,
they've had a couple days of rest.
That was just a letdown game. They couldn't keep it for a while. They were keeping up with the Blazers, scoring. They defense didn't come to play there. So if the Celtics come here, you're a smart guy. I see you going 3-0 in your plays. I think those are the right sides. Now, in all honesty, if you're on something,
all right,
I like it, man. I like it.
Somebody
in the chat real quick says, just real quick, you finna get out here. My guy Fetty says he has a guaranteed pick for us. He said, Jay Money, I got us a guaranteed pick of the day. You know I'm good for it. Under 228 Hawks Suns. Let's see. That's what he says. So hey, that's what he says. That's his lock of the day for guys in the chat that they're liking, my guys. But that's what we're liking. What's your officials? What you like today?
Officials, I played Hawks. I played Celtics. I played Pacers. Took the points with the Hawks, laid the points with the Celtics and the Pacers. And you're talking me into the Spurs, I got to say. That was a really strong case. So going to give them a second look and probably get involved. Before we call it, though, who we're getting close to the playoffs, man. Who you got?
What you think, to take it all or what?
Yeah, who's your finals? Who wins this thing?
Man.
It's tough, man. This is a tough year.
I want to say 76ers versus Suns. I'll be honest with you.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, there's two teams that are just literally playing above everyone else, offensively and defensively. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm about. Because when it gets into really the it's all about half-court defense. Can you lock up? I think the 76ers are the best defensive team in the East. I think the Suns are the best defensive team in the West. So I mean, I know people gonna try and stop that with the Clippers. I don't want to hear anything about them. You stopped about Clippers. We're not talking about no Lakers. You see what I'm saying? They make it kind of far, but they're not. No, I think that the Suns and Jazz. So I think that Suns and Jazz hadn't won. Have they ever won a championship, Drew? Have they, the Suns or Jazz? Have they ever?
Suns? No. They both lost to the Bulls in the finals.
They both got both of them.
I don't think neither team's gotten a title.
Jordan held them back. Jordan and Kobe held both of those teams back. Yeah. Basically, Jordan held the Jazz back, Stockton and Malone, and Kobe held when the Suns, you know what I'm saying, had their ballers over there a few times. So neither one of those have won. I tell you, somebody's going to win the championship. Remember, the 76ers were terrible for a while as well. So one of these years, guys, the Knicks are going to win a championship. The 76ers are going to win one. The Suns and the Jazz. I'm telling you, it's going to be a new wave. Lakers and the Clippers, you probably get your ass bounced in the first round. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there, man. Hey, you faced it. I'm just saying, my guys. So what they say, somebody said coach got fired by Indy. No, not yet. They saying that at the end of the season. I don't think so, my guys. But they're saying Suns have no experience. What you think about that? What would be yours, Drew? Before we
I worry about the experience thing. I mean, that core, as good as they are, they haven't ever had a playoff series in their career.
Chris Paul has too much experience.
He's the only guy, I guess. Jay Crowder too. Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, the only guys that have ever played in the playoffs. I agree with your points. They're the best defensive team. However, best of 7 NBA playoffs so often boils down to who's the best player, because game 5, 6, and 7, once you're coach, if you have a good coach and you've gone through all the different adjustments that you have in your toolbox, and you're late in the series, it entirely boils down to, who's the best player that's going to take over this game in the fourth quarter and get us to the next level. And Booker he's the guy, but I have a tough time seeing him going toe to toe with the likes of LeBron or Kawhi, honestly. So they could get the good path though and get to the Western Conference Finals. That gives that little nucleus a real chance to be special over the future, next couple of years, where they can kind of get to the Western Conference Finals this year.
And don't you think it's scary that they hadn't made the playoffs in forever, and then they're gunning for it? They had pretty much had the number 1 seed. So I mean, they're pretty much locked into that 1 or 2. So who are you saying? You think the Clippers going? What do you think about these guys? The Clippers or Lakers? The Ski in the chat, he's Laker fans. So what's up, Ski?
This regular season has been bananas, right? Compressed schedule, injuries, all kinds of stuff. I've been telling myself all along, don't get caught up in what you're seeing in the regular season. Nets, Lakers, just that's the way this is going to be once it comes playoffs. So even though both teams right now look like trash in certain ways, especially against the better teams in the NBA, I think best of 7, LeBron, AD healthy. I don't think anyone's beating them in the West. Similarly, Harden, KD, Kyrie. Tough to see anyone being able to outscore them in the East, even though their defense is hot garbage. And then I'll take Lakers over Nets in 7. That'd be fun.
I'd love to see a 7-game series. So the Nets we know defense, the playoffs about defense, and the new age NBA is about offense. So that's what you're saying, that the offense just matters more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll matter more in like a razor thin, in a small sample, like let's say that you got Bucks Nets round 2. I have more confidence that the Nets are going to be able to find offense late in games, whereas the Bucks, I could see them getting stagnant. Like that just happens, right? Yeah, but especially with Harden. Similarly, if you get Nets Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals, which you probably will, the Sixers are going to have some second units where they just don't have anyone that can score. And those are going to be some tough times. Like they're going to have to just hold on for dear life while Embiid gets a handful of minutes of rest. So that but it's a matter. It's the margins are super thin this year. I definitely wouldn't go bet Lakers or Nets right now at the current prices because they're way too short. I would you're not getting anywhere close to fair value on those guys. But I think end of the day, it's probably going to be. Maybe Lakers over Nets.
Would the Nets be able to put it together? I think they have like a handful of games, maybe 10 games where all 3 guys are playing. You have to put something together, at least before the regular season. You have to get more games with Harden, KD, and Kyrie because you got 3 ball hogs on the team, and I do think they'll be able to get it done. But you have to get some type of chemistry together if their defense is going to be terrible because you want to try and build that. I've seen Harden play defense. I've seen Kyrie play defense. I've seen KD play defense. So I do think they can do it. It's just about can they do it while all being on the floor at one time. That's my last question for you.
Yeah. I didn't think AD and LeBron were going to be able to figure it out on the fly last year, and they did it with style. Right? You remember the Lakers in the 8-game run up to the playoffs. They were brutal. They were so bad. It was like, man, these guys, Charles Barkley, like beating his chest after one game the Blazers beat him. Like, guarantee you the Blazers eliminate the Lakers. The Lakers lost 3 more playoff games the rest of the playoffs after that. It's like, when you have elite talent like that, when you have Harden, Durant, and Kyrie all on the floor at the same time, like, it just ends up working out. It's not a very satisfying answer.
I'd probably take the Nets. If they faced off, my money would probably be on Nets over Lakers. I don't make series bets. I always like go game for game. Whoever's taking the points, I just like who I'll be on. But I might go with the Lakers. I might go with the Nets. I think they really have something to figure out with Drummond. Drummond is really like a wild card type of player. The consistency is not there for Drummond. So I know AD and LeBron can turn it up, but can the rest of the guys, Schroeder, are you going to catch the virus again? Are you going to be out? You know what I'm saying? Or what's up with their ball handling? What's up with their ball handling off the bench? So I have a lot of questions. Is LeBron? He even says he may not ever be 100% again. So all this, his gray hair is coming back pretty every time he dyes it. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to give him 2, but I'm just saying every time he dyes it, hey, they're coming back pretty soon. So the margin of error is there. We know it's Nets championship or bust, which Lakers as well. But I don't know if they'll go back to back. I'll be honest with you. And I think that the fact they were in the bubble, I think that helped a lot for the Lakers.
Yeah,
to be honest with you. So I'm just saying
crazy.
we'll see what happens. But Drummond, I don't think he's a terrible player. He's always good for 20 to 20. It's just I don't know if he fits well. You know what I'm saying? I saw some last game that Drummond AD pick and roll. They may have found something with that though.
Yeah.
That was pretty scary, I must say.
Yeah, the other thing is in the same way you can kind of point to the fact that the big 3 for the Nets haven't played together a lot. like that cuts both ways though. Like they don't have many miles on their tires this year.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
Oh yeah, Harden's been resting
teams,
forever. We forgot all about Harden. I know I did.
Yeah, like these guys, they haven't been through the same kind of just brutal grind them up, chew them up that teams like the Suns and Jazz have have kind of put their foot on the gas the whole time. Like that could end up mattering.
That is the last thing I'll say about it. What I'm saying about the Suns, the fact that I'm respecting them not resting anybody. They hadn't rested Chris Paul. He's rested one game this year. Trust me, because I was on that game. I had the Cavs and they covered by 1 point. That's the only game Chris Paul misses this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Amazing.
They hadn't really rested anybody. In some spots, I think that they should, to be honest with you. So the Suns they may be a regular season team and run out of game. You made a really good point there. But we finna get out of here. I mean, unless you want to talk about
that's good.
I'm good all day, but hey,
let's wrap. That was fun, super fun catching up with you, man.
I'm always down with this, man. I'm going. My guy Will, he's going with the Hawks. He's going with the Celtics. He's going with the Pacers. And I'm going with the Hawks as well. I'm going with the Wizards. Going with Hawks +1. I'm gonna go with Wizards +3.5. And then I'm gonna ride with my guy on the Pacers, man. One time for the one time, -6.5, just because nobody likes it. And obviously the reports coming out about the coach getting fired at the end of the season, I do think that will propel them at least for a small sample size window to go out and smack these boys. It's a revenge game as well. They lost in Sacramento. Obviously they had Fox, they had the whole game. So Brogdon, he comes in, this line will go up. This is my guy right here. If he's on some, this is my guy, Will Capper. If he's on some guy, you might want to take a look. If you're against him, you just might want to take a second look at the game. And right now we have a heavy lean to the Spurs. Heavy lean to Spurs. We get 7 +7. It's a heavy lean. If they play full squad, I'll likely be sprinkling some on Spurs +7. I think this is a winnable game for them. This is what they do. They'll play a team back to back. I do think that they will. I think it's a winnable game for the Spurs, guys, in all honesty. But obviously, I would be taking the points. That's the show. I'm your host, Jay Money. Today I had my guy Drew Disnick, Will Capper. It's my guy, Jack of all trades. This guy does everything, man. I don't know how he had time to come on here, man. But please, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We must do this again. It's my guy, Will Capper. I'm Jay Money. We are out. Appreciate you for watching, guys.